How do you get a ship full of people up at 6 a.m. after they've been partying long into the night because of polar bear sightings? It's not a joke. Got the answer. It's announced that there's a mama with 2 cubs just off the port bow. That's what the news was that we were woken up to. It's a little after 6 a.m. We photographed that for a while. They finished their seal breakfast and then jumped off and swam off into the distance. We left them alone. Certainly love being out here and love getting these fantastic shots, but don't want to stress any of the animals we see out. So we're continuing along this same glacial front. When I last talked to you all, it was just after midnight, and all night long we've been just cruising along. Just saw one kind of big iceberg just do a little slow roll. It's just an absolutely gorgeous morning. Barely any wind, back to no gloves. The sun feels, it's gonna say delicious. The sun feels delicious. Some people hung out in the hot tub last night for a while. Yeah, it's got a hot tub. I'll give you a tour of this boat really soon. Today we're gonna go see, hopefully, crossing fingers, giant waterfall that pours off a glacier. Yeah, sure. Sounds good. And get a little lecture about polar bears from Chris, our expedition leader. Look at the waves of the clouds over there. Wow. All right, one of the places that I'm really excited to take you took a little work. It's the bridge. I had to slip a crew member $50 to get the code. Let's sneak on and see what we can see. All right, so it's like 7, 8.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. I'm just gonna maybe sneak onto the bridge.
It's open bridge policy. Just come in.
It's open bridge policy.
Yeah, sure. I was on my way down, but I can show you.
Oh,
No
come
problem.
on in.
Yeah, join us.
Thanks, Chris.
Everybody can go up.
Expedition leader Chris saying anybody can come on the bridge. I guess they might have announced that. In all seriousness, there is an open bridge policy, and it's just awesome to be up here, watch the navigation happen, all of that work, plus see the guides watching for wildlife spotting, and just kind of hanging up here and getting this view as you're cruising along. Let's take a tour of the rest of the boat. This is the MVC Spirit. It's 90 meters long, 15 meters wide, and capable of 15 knots. Carries up to 114 passengers with 72 crew, and it's full of amenities like the bar and Ross, our MZD, a gift shop, a theater and lecture hall, a paper map that tracks our journey, digital map that tracks your progress, and John, Zodiac driver and fantastic photographer. Reception desk, which gives out free seasickness pills, and Mary, lovely receptionist. The club, and the free coffee machine. Oh, that's hot. Free cookies. The library. And a gym. Jacuzzi. The club deck and outdoor eating. Kayaks. Zodiacs. The marina. Decks with expansive views. And an elevator. And the dining hall. All right, so it's the afternoon now of day 4. I had a fantastic day just kind of cruising along, walrus sightings, lunch outside. Now we've got a huge group of walrus right on shore, and we're going to land and take some photos. So I want to talk a little bit about how landings work. So what has happened is first the expedition team goes in and Zodiacs and sets up a perimeter, watches for bears, makes sure it's safe. You wouldn't want to land a bunch of people from the boat and then find out there's a polar bear behind that rock. That could be kind of bad for business. So they set up with that perimeter and also emergency supplies, and then they start to shuttle us in. Sometimes they put down enough boats depending on the weather and the number of people going ashore to take us all individually in boats. Sometimes we get shuttled back and forth, but let's get in there and check out some walruses laying on the beach, or as I like to call them, beach turds. So we're on the beach. We've got the pod of walrus behind us, and just kind of photographing, looking for interesting compositions, showing the repetition of their blubbery bodies, looking for maybe when the tusks are sticking up in some kind of neat pattern. I'm shooting with what continues to be my favorite combination for any time the wildlife is a little bit further away, the Sony 100 to 400 with the 1.4 teleconverter on my A7R3. And I've got the platypod on, which is really nice because it's so small, it stabilizes. And if you remember back to my Sony tips video, you can get some ridiculously long-range 4K video with this thing, and having that bit of stabilization really helps. Hand holding it at those longer distances for video doesn't work so good. We're just got some time to wander around here, make some photos. It's an interesting beach, kind of desolate. No, it's really desolate. And then we'll head back to the boat for dinner. You might think after a 6 a.m. wake-up call and photographing outside for much of the day that we would have an early, relaxing evening.
I'm saying hi to my grandma.
Well, then you have to make her watch this video. I'll send you the link. But no, that's not the case. No, it is after dinner. It is after 8 p.m. We are headed out, one of the largest bird colonies in Svalbard. All right, we're out here making our way along these cliffs. Nobody's been pooped on yet. 120,000 birds. That's the cliff we were making our way along with 120,000 birds. We saw some snow up on top here and there, and there's parts where it looked pretty deep. Once we got back to the boat, check out that snow up there. It is hundreds and hundreds of feet deep. This land is amazing. This morning we had some more walrus along with history lessons. The chain of islands that we stopped at, or group of islands, have been used as the launching point literally for a bunch of hot air balloon expeditions to the Arctic. Most of them failed with tragedy as a result. That mix, and Maritza said this, who's on this trip, she's been on several trips with us now, you know, that mix of kind of history that we've gotten, plus wildlife, plus photographic opportunities, plus spending time in places like this trip is a fantastic blend. But you know what this trip is not? It's not a vacation. I've heard that from several people. 6 a.m. wake-up calls, late night puttering along bird cliffs. I mean, this is an adventure, and I absolutely love it. We finished tonight with a dinner on deck in these ridiculous conditions, and that was a nice way to wrap up a cool day that included a hike up onto a glacier and my first polar plunge, which was a little swim in the Arctic. And by little, I mean about as quickly as I could get in and out, because it was cold. It was very cold, but I liked it. Tomorrow is our last full day on board. We actually, tomorrow night, late, head to the airport. I'll give you some final thoughts on this trip, share some final moments with you all. But it's been pretty fantastic. That's all for now. What can I say? I mean, people ask me, do I get tired of travel? And the easy answer is no. Not when there are places like this in the world to see, experiences to be part of, people to meet. I mean, the guides, the expedition leader, the other participants on this trip, they're all just a really neat group of individuals from all over the world, and to get to hang out with them and talk to them. But the guides and expedition leader Chris especially are just fantastic people at the top of their game, and to be able to hang around with a bunch of nature nerds and people that love to be out here in a place like this as much as I do feels pretty special. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe for more. You want to come to a place like this with us? McKay Photography Academy. We'll be back here. We're looking at Greenland, maybe in 1.5 to 2 years. We'll put a little link right down below where you can add your name if you want to join us on one of these future trips. And there's lots of other trips too. Thanks so much for watching from well above the Arctic Circle. Bye-bye. Nobody's been pooped on yet. Apparently 2 people did get pooped on. I've got one of them with me, Janet, who's along with us. And Janet, you traveled to a couple different places with us now. One question. Was it worth it?
Totally worth it. Totally worth it.
There you go. That's all.